Nothing else. At least I've discovered what it is we put our speakers through. Sweaty palms, sleepless nights, a wholly unnatural fear of clocks. I mean, it's quite brutal. And I'm also a little nervous about this. There are 9 billion humans coming our way. Now, the most optimistic dreams can get dented by the prospect of people plundering the planet. But recently, I've become intrigued by a different way of thinking of large human crowds, because there are circumstances where they can do something really cool. It's a phenomenon that I think any organization or individual can tap into. It's certainly impacted the way we think about TED's future, and perhaps the world's future overall. So let's explore. The story starts with just a single person, a child, behaving a little strangely. This kid's known online as a little demon. He's doing tricks here, dance tricks, that probably no 6-year-old in history ever managed before. How did he learn them? And what drove him to spend the hundreds of hours of practice this must have taken? Here's a clue.
Step your game up, oh! Step your game up, oh!
So that was sent me by this man, a filmmaker, Jonathan Chu, who told me that was the moment he realized the internet was causing dance to evolve. This is what he said at TED in February. I mean, in essence, dancers were challenging each other online to get better. Incredible new dance skills were being invented. Even the 6-year-olds were joining in. I mean, it felt like a revolution. And so John had a brilliant idea. He went out to recruit the best of the best dancers off of YouTube to create this dance troupe, the League of Extraordinary Dancers, the LXD. I mean, these kids were web-taught, but they were so good, they got to play the Oscars this year. And at TED here in February, their passion and brilliance just took our breath away. So this story of the evolution of dance seems strangely familiar. You know, a while after TED Talks started taking off, we noticed that speakers were starting to spend a lot more time in preparation. It was resulting in incredible new talks like these two, months of preparation crammed into 18 minutes, raising the bar cruelly for the next generation of speakers with the effects that we've seen this week. And it's not as if JJ and Jill actually ended their talk saying, "Step your game up," but they might as well have. So in both of these cases, you've got these cycles of improvement apparently driven by people watching web video. What is going on here? Well, I think it's the latest iteration of a phenomenon we can call crowd-accelerated innovation. And there are just 3 things you need for this thing to kick into gear. You could think of them as 3 dials on a giant wheel. You turn up the dials, the wheel starts to turn. And the first thing you need is a crowd, a group of people who share a common interest. The bigger the crowd, the more potential innovators there are. That's important. But actually, most people in the crowd occupy these other roles. They're creating the ecosystem from which innovation emerges. The second thing you need is light. You need clear, open visibility of what the best people in that crowd are capable of, because that is how you will learn, how you will be empowered to participate. And third, you need desire. You know, innovation's hard work. It's based on hundreds of hours of research, of practice. Absent desire, not going to happen. Now, here's an example, pre-internet, of this machine in action. Dancers at a street corner. You know, it's a crowd, a small one. But they can all obviously see what each other can do. And the desire part comes, I guess, from social status, right? Best dancer walks tall, gets the best date. There's probably going to be some innovation happening here. But on the web, all 3 dials are ratcheted right up. The dance community is now global. There's millions connected. And amazingly, you can still see what the best can do, because the crowd itself shines a light on them, either directly through comments, ratings, email, Facebook, Twitter, you know, or indirectly through numbers of views, through links that point Google there. So it's easy to find the good stuff. And when you found it, you can watch it in close-up repeatedly and read what hundreds of people have written about it. That's a lot of light. But the desire element is really, dialed way up. I mean, you might just be a kid with a webcam, but if you can do something that goes viral, you get to be seen by the equivalent of sports stadiums crammed with people. You get hundreds of strangers writing excitedly about you. And even if it's not that eloquent, and it's not, it can still really make your day. So this possibility of a new type of global recognition, I think, is driving huge amounts of effort. And it's important to note that it's not just the stars who are benefiting. Because you can see the best, everyone can learn. Also, the system is self-fueling. It's the crowd that shines the light and fuels the desire. But the light and desire are a lethal 1-2 combination that attract new people to the crowd. So this is a model that pretty much any organization could use to try and nurture its own cycle of crowd-accelerated innovation. Invite the crowd, let in the light, dial up the desire. And the hardest part about that is probably the light, because it means you have to open up. You have to show your stuff to the world. It's by giving away what you think is your deepest secret that maybe millions of people are empowered to help improve it. And very happily, there's one class of people who really can't make use of this tool. The dark side of the web is allergic to the light. I don't think we're going to see terrorists, for example, publishing their plans online and saying to the world, please, could you help us to actually make them work this time? But you can publish your stuff online, and if you can get that wheel to turn, look out. So at TED, we've become a little obsessed with this idea of openness. In fact, my colleague June Cohen's taken to calling it radical openness, because it works for us each time. We opened up our talks to the world, and suddenly there are millions of people out there helping spread our speakers' ideas, and thereby making it easier for us to recruit and motivate the next generation of speakers. By opening up our translation program, thousands of heroic volunteers, some of them watching online right now, and thank you, have translated our talks into more than 70 languages, thereby tripling our viewership in non-English speaking countries. By giving away our TEDx brand, we suddenly have 1,000+ live experiments in the art of spreading ideas. And these organizers, they're seeing each other, they're learning from each other. We are learning from them. We're getting great talks back from them. The wheel is turning. Okay, step back a minute. I mean, it's really not news for me to tell you that innovation emerges out of groups. We've heard that this week. This romantic notion of the lone genius with a eureka moment that changes the world is misleading. Even he said that, and he would know. We're a social species. We spark off each other. It's also not news to say that the internet has accelerated innovation. For the past 15 years, powerful communities have been connecting online, sparking off each other. If you take programming,